Welcome to Think Bigger Voices, hosted by Jennie Treby and co-produced by Tony DiBenedetto. We're on a mission to break the cycle of poverty for kids in America by inspiring education, advocacy, and action in our communities. We'll tackle big subjects, talk to the experts, and promote the solutions making an impact. Join us if you believe that every kid deserves the opportunity to think bigger.
Thank you for joining Think Bigger Voices. I'm Jennie Treby. Today's guest is all about resilience and what happens when somebody chooses to lean into opportunity. Lele was just 18 when she was forced to navigate life beyond what anybody could comprehend. She has navigated homelessness, financial instability, and a myriad of other obstacles that most people will never face. Despite it, Lele is grounded and probably the most positive person you'll ever want to meet. Lele, I'm so glad that you're here. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm absolutely excited for the opportunity.
Well, we like to call you our Think Big ambassador.
Oh man, what an honor.
Because we know that you've been involved in our program, but just because you just share all the wonderful things and all the attributes of the students that we are on a mission to help.
Yes, we love a good success story, and I'm hoping I'm one and there's plenty more, so I'm very excited about that.
Let's talk about your story. I know it's a lot to unpack, and if you're willing to share that, maybe just talk to us about what your background was like.
Of course. So my background was not unlike many kids, right? I was a part of a marginalized group and in an area that maybe wasn't the best suited for a kid that had big dreams, big ambitions. I'm the eldest of 8 children. Believe it or not, I thought that was normal for a very long time, which is not uncommon. But as the eldest, you can imagine how much attention that I was able to get, how many resources out of the household that I was able to get. Coming from a household with already it's scarce as far as resources go, I often had to be my own parent, for lack of a better term, especially when it came to pushing myself further. If I wanted to join a musical theater, I would have to be the one to come up with the entrance fee. If I wanted to join volleyball, I had to come up with the things of that nature. But overall, eldest of 8. Had to overcome many different obstacles, but I'm very, very happy to stand here today, sit here today, of course, to be able to share my story. And because I've shown lots of resilience and I've leaned into many resources that I've had to find, or people that I had to find, networking opportunities that I had to pretty much take advantage of to propel myself. And because I did that, I am here today. So I'm very happy. Very happy.
One of the most positive people we know. That's how I entered you.
Gotta be.
Talk to us about being in a household oldest of 8. Were you put in a position where you had to do a lot of parenting?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Think about it. I get anyone that's the eldest, whether it's 1 kid, 2 kids, you know that there's some sort of unspoken leadership role that you inherit, right? And because there were so many of us, I became the older sister, the intern mom, occasional chef, entertainment, depending, it was many different hats that I learned how to wear from a very young age. And although I'm fairly positive, so I like to think that it was training for the real world. But in reality, I did miss parts of my childhood that I'm still living through to this day, trying to live, get in touch with my inner child and do all the things that I was told that I never could. And that makes me happy. But it was definitely a challenge, as it is for anyone that's a parent as a child, right?
You said something about being told that you couldn't. Was that a product of somebody literally telling you couldn't, or just being surrounded by circumstances where you just felt like you couldn't?
It's definitely both. I think as we've all grown and we've all learned, our environment plays an integral part in who we become. It shapes who we are, right? For me, it was a combination of being shown that, yep, you're the eldest and you have to take care of everyone else. You can't really think too much about yourself because you're selfish if you do that. it was a combination of the environment, but also being a part of the community that I was in and the neighborhood that I was in. It was sometimes guidance counselors, teachers that would kind of tell me like, hey, listen, like you just be lucky to graduate. So maybe you should, not as encouraging as it should have been, honestly. But because of that, I had to push myself for the amount of 10 people, 20 people. My whole team was me. And the people that I was able to come into contact with, network with, the friends I made, the chosen family that I've loved to this day. So, yeah.
So you became 18, and we kind of touched on the fact that you were facing homelessness, financial instability, chaos,
Right.
and all that comes along with that.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, a lot of unpleasantness, but I think some of the best people are able to turn negatives into positives. For me personally, it was a lot. You know, I feel like many of us, when we're born into this world, a lot of us we're lucky enough to have like a supportive, I don't even want to say mother and father, just like, let's say a supportive family in general. One that's there to teach you, you know, the things that you could never learn on your own, like taxes and what a mortgage is and all of these things. They're able to have people that are there. And I hope to everyone that does have someone special, I hope you can like tell them how much you love them, because it's very important to make sure they know what they mean to you. But 18 years old, didn't really have that safety net, didn't really have that support. So I had to find people to be my support. Fresh out of, in and out of foster care, but just aged out of foster care technically at that point. And I could either stay in the environment that I was in, the people I was around, and kind of become my environment, for lack of a better term, or I could do something different. And thank goodness, I know we're going to get to it later, but because of the Boys and Girls Club, honestly, like that was pivotal. Oh my goodness, absolutely. It was a pivotal point in my life where I realized like I can be more than my environment. I'm going to be. There's no other option for me.
Well, that's what Boys and Girls Club's all about, right?
Man,
so let's talk about that now.
Yeah.
So how were you a Boys and Girls Club kid the whole time that you were growing up, or did you go into more of like a teenager?
Yeah, I'm so glad you asked that. Honestly, I found the Boys and Girls Club as a teenager. I believe I was, I didn't really know about it until my friend was actually a part of the Boys and Girls Club. I remember being a sophomore in high school and realized that I wanted to do more. My grades weren't the best. I know that because I wasn't as academically inclined as I'd like to be, specifically because some people would go home and worry about their homework, and me, I would sometimes go home and worry about like, what are we eating, or oh, I have to change diapers. So it was other things that I had on my mind. I couldn't pour into myself academically. However, I will say that because of that, it definitely taught me a lot. It taught me a lot about myself. It taught me a lot about the world. But yeah, navigating through that was difficult. And because I found the Boys and Girls Club, my friend told me about it. I was a sophomore. I just wanted somewhere to do my homework quietly. I wanted to do more. He told me about the Boys and Girls Club. He told me, I think it was like a really cheap sign-up fee, like $20 or something. And I was like, I got $20. I can $20. And man, what an investment, honestly, the $20 was. But yeah, it put me in rooms with people I otherwise would have never met. I met really great people. I met, I believe he was Zach. I want to shout out Zach. He's awesome. He also participated in the program. Very, very, very driven individual, very ambitious. And I met people like him, not people that were okay with having D's and F's, that were okay with not pushing themselves. I met people that wanted more for their future, even if they didn't have a team behind them. And that's where I began to grow, I do believe, yes.
So that kind of gave you the platform to be able to kind of focus on yourself a little bit.
Absolutely.
And give you that support.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's like you don't know what you don't know. So how would I know that the Boys and Girls Club would be that integral? How did I know that that was something that could get me to where I needed to go? I had no clue. All that really happened was that I took the advice of a trusted friend. And because of that, I was then able to take every opportunity, right? And grow from it and better myself and show others that my story may not be like everyone's story. However, it's all about the opportunities that you take. And because of that, like I was completely different a year later. It's
Wow.
crazy. Yeah.
So, fast forward, you graduated high school.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And then what happened after that?
Oh man. A lot happened. I guess I was one of the fortunate ones. Like I was able to graduate, and even though I was still like in legal guardianship and foster care, I recognized that I had accomplished, the graduation. After that, it then became like reality hit. It's like, okay, you have to find a place to live. You have to make sure that you have steady income. I already had an idea of how the world worked because I did occasionally have part-time jobs because I was a kid adult, for lack of a better term. But yeah, reality hit. And honestly, I had no clue what I wanted to do after high school originally, until the Boys and Girls Club. I remember at 18, I was a part of an internship. I do believe it was called Yes Academy back when I was first brought into it. So Yes Academy, I was 18, just graduated high school, living with my grandmother temporarily for the guardianship. And I had no clue what I wanted to do. I was scared. I was scared out of my mind because what can I do, right? I don't know anything about this big, scary, unknown world. And I do want to shout out someone again, Miss Anna Barrios. She was, I believe, in the grants department of the Boys and Girls Club at the time. I internshipped with her, and I would have gone to college, I think, eventually, but she was the pivotal, like she gave me so much. She was the reason that I went to college. I didn't know how to submit an application for college. I didn't know you had to do that. I didn't know anything, but I do know something about me is that I'm quite resilient, and if I want something and I put my mind to it, it's going to be mine. It's already mine. It's just a matter of time. So because of Anna, she sat there with me on my lunch break and told me how to fill out my application. I had no clue, and she guided me through that. And she was also, I believe, in law school, and because of that, she drove me to want to do good in school. At that point, internship full-time and going to school full-time, while living in student housing, which I thought, like, one bird, what's the saying? Multiple birds with one stone. Yes. I thought, okay, go to college housing, boom, you have a place to stay. You work with your internship, stay there. You have a source of income and you have a means to acquire more. So it just worked beautifully for me, and it was because of everyone there, but Anna was definitely that last push I needed. Yeah.
The push to launch you.
Yeah,
right.
Pretty much like a rocket. Absolutely.
So how did you get connected with Think Big?
Well, oh man, it's funny we were talking about Anna. Well, years later, after I had, I had left the internship, and I had become a little bit older. I had been living on my own for a few years. I got a random message from Miss Anna Barrios again, and she was saying, hey, it's good to hear from you. I know you're doing great, but just know that we have this opportunity, something coming up with Think Big. They have mentorship, and they may have resources that may be of use to you. And I thought about it, and I thought I was doing pretty good at that point, but I wasn't doing as good as I could have been. Shortly after that, as we know, I graduated 2018, so 2019, 2020, that was around COVID, and the whole world kind of changed for a little bit, and that's the time I was an adult. I became an adult, which that was hard enough to navigate. Yeah. But honestly, she reached out and she said, hey, this may work for you. And I didn't know if it would or not, but I trust Anna. I trust Anna, and I trust what she did at the Boys and Girls Club and what the entire program did for me, Yes Academy. So I'm like, what's the worst that could happen? After that, I met my mentor. She helped me through some pretty rough patches. Really, as an adult, I became a lot more self-reliant in that time. I became more, I believe, of a woman and an adult in that time. I think certain adversities are unnecessary. I think people can grow and learn without having to overcome so many obstacles. But I do believe a few of the obstacles I overcame molded me and shaped me. So, love-hate relationship, right?
Sure.
Absolutely,
Yeah, absolutely. So tell us about how a mentor has been able to help guide you along your way.
Man, Yvette wears many hats. She was not only a mentor, but she was really she was a guide. She was a borderline therapist. She did a lot. The biggest thing that she showed me was that I could be something better. Not just looking at her life and all of her success, right? But seeing that she was able, it wasn't easy for her. It wasn't easy for a lot of people, but she molded herself and built her life, kind of built her empire. And then she took it a step further and wanted to reach back out for someone else to help. I thought that was absolutely stupendous. And I thought that if she can do this and she's wanting to guide me, I can do this absolutely. Absolutely. She was really just, I think, a kind spirit and a kind adult to really help me through navigating adulthood. I was an adult at this point, but I was an adult since I was, 10, 12?
Sure.
So it's like I couldn't really tell the difference. The only thing that changed was responsibilities of the world, and she helped me with that. Yeah.
You've you also participated in Europe United, didn't you?
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about that.
Oh my goodness, Europe, man, and I just want to give a shout out to how things in your life, patterns and things in your life you may not think will lead you to a specific place, but it does. So the person that actually told me about Europe United was my mentor, mentor, right? So it's every single path, every single part, it's someone that's touching me and helping me along. But yeah, my mentor recognized that I was in a tough spot. At that point, I was struggling with stable housing. And for me, it was such an overwhelming experience because I had steady employment for about a year or 2 years after that. But another adult thing that I realized is steady employment doesn't always equal, or guarantee housing. But around this time, I had her as my mentor. I was, not to get too personal, but I was Airbnbs from time to time, hotels. I was doing any and everything that I could to make sure that I could go back to work and that I could save money and I could get my home. I was doing everything in my power. And Yvette said, "Hey, I know it's a hard time for you, but I have this program called Europe United." And I asked her, I read about it and I was telling her, I don't think this is for me. I have a job. I don't think that's a resource I need. And I was so close to just saying, you know what, that's not something for me. I'm focused on other things. I was really close to giving up that opportunity, but I was at a point where I'm you know what? I have this person in my life that's guiding me, and she's here for a reason, and she's telling me to try this. So I tried it. I went along with Europe, and wow, I loved it. I'm sorry. I had a great time.
Tell us what Europe United is, just
Yes.
in a couple sentences, just in case people don't know what Europe United is.
No, of course. So Europe United, it's pretty much it's similar to what we do here at Think Big, but pretty much their target and focus is propelling young adults to career-wise. It's trying to help them develop themselves, develop their skills regarding resumes and things of sort. So it's really an intensive program. It's an intensive program that is used to propel youth to the next phase of their career, or to go from having a job to having a career. That's what it's for. And for me, like I said, I had steady employment. I didn't know if it was for me, but through that, I learned so much. Learned a little bit about banking. I learned a lot about resume writing. I learned a lot about first impressions. They helped us with with our LinkedIn. It was a whole revamping of our identities, especially in the workforce, and it was amazing. We had time to build lots of camaraderie with people that were just like us, that went through the same things that we went through, had the same situations, had to claw their way out of deep holes that were dug before they were born, and we pretty much we did what we had to do together, and it was an amazing experience. I met some really great people that I still speak to today. My best friend, I actually met her in Europe.
Oh,
yes,
that's cool.
Yes. So it was.
You just said something I thought was so profound, and I I want to go back and capture it.
Absolutely.
Digging out of a hole that was made before you were born.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's really powerful. Like, that's a powerful visual, and it goes to remind us that nobody chooses
No.
how and where and who they're born into.
You're just born.
You're just born, right?
That's
and
it.
That's your path. And you know what else I'm thinking too? Between like Boys and Girls Club, Europe United, Think Big. This is an example of, and we talk about this a lot, of 3 nonprofits, all focused on kids, but all focused in slightly different areas.
Absolutely.
A little bit of overlap, but they each have their own lane. But yet they're all dedicated to wrapping themselves around kids and helping to lift up young adults.
Absolutely.
And you're just such a good example of what can happen when a person like you is brought into that resource and those opportunities where they can help make you the whole person you are.
Absolutely. I think I will be very honest. It's all about the person that you are. There are some people that really need these resources, but they're not ready to put in the work or effort that it takes. And everyone's situation is different. Me, I saw myself and who I could be. And I saw on the other side the lack of the village that I had. And what I decided to do was make Europe and Think Big and Yes Academy and Boys and Girls Club. Those are my villages. And I made them my village in order to propel me through. And golly, I'm glad I did that because, again, it touched me in ways that I had no clue that it would. And everyone else that it's touched, like, I wish them the absolute best because I know what it's like. I know what it's like I said, to have like a big wall that's built and you have to knock it down, but you didn't build the wall. It's just there. And you're supposed to be the one to push through this wall to then start to grow and to build your own home. So
but when you're young, you don't even know what it is that you need to build, right?
I don't know what a hammer or chisel is.
Right,
I just was born here and I was told to learn. And I started to learn, and then I realized, oh no, you have to do more than learn. You have to excel, and on top of that, you have to overcome these obstacles. We're just going to leave them here for you, and you overcome them, but we're not going to tell you how. So it was, it was like getting plopped in everyone knows the metaphorical game of life, but it's like being put on the board, that the part of the board where it's like it's covered by a dam and a moat and an alligator and a barbed wire fence, and they're saying, okay, get over that, and then you can start. And so it's like, I think that situation can make or break you. Some people sometimes it's easy to look at such odds and fall into despair. But me, I think about it, I'm like, okay, fine. I can show what I can do. And then I'm going to do that times 3. So I'm fine. I can do that.
So tell us what you're up to now.
Yeah, so right now I'm still working full-time at a telecommunications company. I am working with my mentor and a few other people regarding getting more encompassed in business. There's a few products that I'm trying to develop and launch for mostly hair care and skin care, so I'm working on that. Still a full-time student. I just recently graduated with my associates. And yes, right? Woo! Man, and that showed me that, like, you know what, regardless if you feel like your accomplishment is huge or small, it's an accomplishment nonetheless. That's progress.
It's a piece of paper.
It's a piece of paper. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And so the next piece of paper will be my bachelor's. So I'm working towards my bachelor's currently. And yeah, I'm really just taking my world by storm. Honestly, that's all I can do. And it's like if let's say Europe was my mom and Think Big was my dad. It's like you want to make your parents proud.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Love that.
Yeah, but I definitely want to make myself proud. Like, that's why I'm doing this, and to eventually be a role model for my siblings and a role model for all of the people out there that are looking at a huge brick wall thing, and there's no way that they can overcome it, that they can't climb, they can't break through it. I want people to look at me and say, you know what, let me just try a little bit harder. Let me just try a little bit more, because that little last push could be what gets you over that wall.
Yeah.
Do it. Go over that wall.
Go over it.
Yeah.
You know what's so cool about you, Lele, among other things, is that you have this ability, and it's almost like it's innate. You are able to have like one eye on the future and like one eye, though, on the present. like you're able to kind of straddle both of those
Yes.
in a way that you're like, I know what I'm going for. Or maybe I don't even know what it's going to be yet, but I have an eye for it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm also going to do the best that I can and absorb it in the moment. And I think that is not only mature, but probably, I don't know if that's something you were born with or something that
Right.
made
I
you
love
that way,
that.
or maybe
Old
a little
soul.
both.
No.
Maybe you're just an old soul, right?
Yeah, but
That's
no.
part of your resilience.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think it's like it's a part of me was built like this. I was born this way, but then again, circumstances molded me. But I think it's a superpower you have to have, right? You have to have your eye on the prize. You have to know what you're going for, but you can never lose sight of your present. You have to stay grounded and stay aware, because otherwise you may get lost in the clouds and you may never get to that dream or that goal because you were so focused on what's around you or what everyone's doing in the present. Focus on yourself.
Focus on yourself.
The future.
Yeah.
Look ahead.
What would you want to share with a person or people who maybe don't fully grasp what you've been through, and other kids who are in similar circumstances, what you've been through?
Well, something I would definitely like to mention is it is hard cleaning up someone else's metaphorical mess. By that I mean, let's say your parents, left a huge mess in the kitchen and it stayed there until you were born, and you had to clean it, but they weren't going to tell you how to clean it. It was just you. So I think that's minimizing it, but to make it something easily digestible, it's cleaning up something that you have no concept of cleaning, no concept of why it got dirty, but you have to clean it. That's kind of what it's like to be born into an environment to where you may not have all of the same opportunities, or being born into a society that kind of puts you in a box based on the area you were brought up in, or just how you may look, how you may speak. You want to make sure that you understand that everyone's different, everyone has value, and everyone's value can change. It can grow, absolutely. And the biggest thing you want to do is cultivate the value of people that have what it takes, and that may not have the resources that it takes, but they have everything else, the gumption, if you will. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want people to understand that whatever you find or hold most dear to you, or whatever you feel like is the biggest part of who you are today, that thing could have just as well easily given someone else the same life. So it's really important to be grateful for what you have and recognize not everyone else has it, and some people work double as hard because they didn't really just have like the foundation. Foundation's important.
Yeah. I have one final question for you.
Of course.
What advice would you give to 12-year-old Lele, or another 12-year-old child who is in the throes of all of it?
Man, you got this, honey. Like, you absolutely are trailblazing. You are shining. You may not see the way that you shine or the way that your light impacts others, but man, if you just keep on going, I absolutely promise you that you can change the world. I feel like everyone that's going through something, or everyone that doesn't have maybe a parent or an aunt, a guardian that pours into them as much as they deserve, you can pour into yourself, and you can find good people that'll pour into you too. Just keep on going. Don't stop. Yeah. Just please don't stop, whatever you do.
And hopefully leaning into those opportunities from these communities and
Absolutely.
these nonprofits who are here to help and who love and care.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think if there's someone that's willing to reach out a helping hand, and their intentions are pure, you gotta grab that hand. Absolutely. It's really about doing what works best for you, helping as many people as you can, but help yourself first. And always remembering where you came from. No matter how much success that you may have, always remember where you started, and remember there's other people starting just like that.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Lele, you are incredible. And thank you so much for spending some time with us today. And what's great about our relationship at Think Big with you is that we're still going to be in contact. We're still going to help you get that bachelor's degree and help you and support you in whatever way that we can. And thank you for your heartfelt words. It's truly incredible.
Thank you for the opportunity. And yeah, anyone that this does touch, I hope that it makes their day better. They at least think that they can do something that they never thought they could. Yes. Thank you so much.
That's all for us today. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for spending your time with Think Bigger Voices. Visit thinkbigforkids.org/podcast to see more episodes, follow our journey, and stay connected.